enter phase 2 of this trial, where both the prosecution and defense can call witnesses in an attempt to reduce George's sentence. Please, respect the rules of this public courtroom. You may take notes, but you may not talk to one another. Make attempts to talk with witnesses or with observers during this trial. If you do, you will be dismissed. Thank you. Prosecution, your opening statement, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicolette. I'm here to prove George is guilty of first-degree murder. Therefore, we will also provide that he, the defendant, killed Lenny in an act of murder. We will then also provide that he should receive the death penalty with evidence regarding no reasonable doubt, and that no other suspect was in the position to kill him. We will also be calling 5 witnesses down to prove our case. The first witness will be the expert psychologist, then another expert coroner, a policeman, Candy, an old man close with both Lenny and George himself, and then Carlson. At the conclusion of the case, we will ask you to convict the defendant of the crime as charged. Thank you.
Defense, your opening statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are here today to prove that my client, George, is being wrongly accused of murdering his best friend, Lenny. Throughout this case, we hope that you will find reasonable doubt that he is innocent and to not convict him.
Prosecution, who will you call as your first witness?
Please stand when you're talking to the judge, please.
Your Honor, we would like to call the coroner first.
Okay, jury, get ready.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth without omission?
Where was the victim's wound located?
The victim's room was directly behind the head.
How far away was the gunfire shot?
From the evidence, I can tell it was around 3 feet.
In your opinion as an expert, was this a homicide or a suicide?
Objection, opinion.
Your Honor, this witness is obviously an expert witness, and as an expert witness, he has in a position to tell his opinion about the evidence that was provided to him as an expert.
In your opinion as an expert, was this homicide or suicide?
It was a homicide because when I went and observed the scene, you could tell it was not suicidal from the evidence I had.
Prosecution, defense, do you want to cross-examine him?
Okay, defense.
No, prosecution again?
Prosecution, you want to cross-examine the witness?
No.
No.
Who will you call as your second witness?
Oh, that's. Want to call your second witness?
Would like to call the policeman as my second
Please.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth without omission?
Can you explain what evidence you found at the crime scene?
I found the body, a bullet, a gun.
What kind of gun did you find?
I found a Luger.
In your opinion as an expert, do you think the Luger was the murder weapon?
Yes.
How many bullets were fired?
One.
Was there evidence that would indicate a fight before the gunfire?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Defense, do you want to cross-examine? Defense?
Cross-examine the witness.
Are you sure, defense?
Yes.
Are you sure? Defense.
Something good.
Have nothing else. Okay, prosecution?
Question, we would like to call the accredited psychologist for the same.
Mr. Brennan, do you solemnly swear to testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
So you are an accredited psychologist, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. In your professional opinion, would you say that George Milton was indeed insane?
No, I wouldn't say he is insane, I would just say he was executive.
So there is zero doubt that George Milton, the defendant, was not insane? Thank you.
Defense?
Would you say that Lenny was mentally ill?
Yes.
Would you say that there is reasonable explanation for his, I guess you could say, mental breakdowns? Would you say that George looked after Lenny?
Yes.
Would you say they had a strong relationship?
Yes.
No further questions?
Your Honor, can I add a question? So, you know Lenny, the victim, also?
Yes.
Okay, would you say, his intelligence was on a normal level?
No, he had a very low.
Would you describe him, because of his low level of, intelligence as mentally retarded or also mentally handicapped?
Yes.
Okay, so as an expert witness, your opinion is that he was mentally handicapped, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much. No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to cross-examine the witness. Would you say that George is the killer? Would you say that
Objection, Your Honor. This is, speculation and, on top of that opinion, which has nothing to do with
I
the
have
relevance
I have
of the
reason
act.
to adjust that question, I can rephrase it.
Yes, thank you.
Would you say that he has a mindset of a madman? Would you say that he and Lenny both could be a killer in any sense?
Objection, Your Honor. Excuse me, the question with the killer,
I can say
it has.
I can rephrase it again. Would you say they both could be
This will be your
madmen?
last rephrase.
Yes, thank you.
Would you say they both could be madmen? Okay, no further questions.
Thank you.
All right. Prosecution.
We would like to, Your Honor, we would like to call Carson as our next witness. Where did you live when you were working on the farm? Where?
I lived on the farm.
Where exactly? In a specific building?
The bunkhouse.
Thank you. What things did you keep in the bunkhouse that were used?
Objection, relevant.
We are referring here to the fact that our witnesses told us that the sir here kept a gun in his bunkhouse, which is obviously the murder weapon, as our expert witness, the policeman told us. So I think this is very relevant, the murder weapon is what trials the murder case. So, what things did you keep in the bunkhouse?
My clothing and my gun and my books.
What gun exactly did you keep in the bunkhouse? What type of gun was that?
Yeah, that's it.
A Luger, is that correct? So, who knew about the gun, the Luger?
Me, George, and a few of the other guys from the army.
Let me rephrase my question. Who couldn't know about the gun?
I don't know.
On the day of the murder, where was the gun or when you were about to get it?
I lost it. I couldn't find it.
It wasn't there.
I went looking and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Who do you think could possibly have got the gun before you were able to get it?
I thought maybe George.
Objection. Objection, opinion.
Stand please when you're talking to the judge. Nick?
Okay. Carson.
He's objecting, and I'm
Okay, so I'm not saying it.
Yeah, so Carson, I want you to answer the question, but not with an opinion in your question. I just want to know who could possibly have gotten the gun. As you obviously said,
Objection, speculation. There's no way she would know that. It's an idea.
Your Honor, she was obviously there with some people at the time when she was about to get he were about to get the gun. So obviously the people who were around her the whole time, it's good. Him around the whole time. If there were any people around him the whole time, couldn't have gotten the gun in that time frame. So I'm referring to that when I asked the question who could not have gotten the gun or who could have gotten the gun. So that is an open question, and I'm not referring to any specific person. So may.
Then either way, it's opinion, and there's no way she would know. It's like a game of yes or no.
So to start on after the gun was not there when you came together.
No, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Prosecution, you want to cross-examine?
Cross-examine. We would like to call Candy as our last witness. Can you please state your name for the record?
First and last.
Candy.
Thank you.
Candy.
Candy.
Who found the body of Curtis Brown? Who did you tell about that? What did George do after you told him what happened? Or you showed him what happened?
He told me to give him some time to tell the other people before that he wasn't dead.
What happened then?
He went to the bunkhouse, I waited, and then I went to him.
Attorney Keller, the jury's requesting that the witness speaks up.
Thank you. So, so what did George do after you showed him what happened? Can you repeat that up?
He told me to wait and give him some time so they didn't think that he was involved. So he left and went to the bunkhouse.
And what happened then?
So I made it and I told everybody something happened to her.
Okay, what did Curly do? After he saw that his wife was dead,
He was upset.
he was upset.
And then he
Oh, he found Lenny's head?
yes,
Okay, where did he go?
he routed up a couple of horses to look for Lenny.
Do you know where exactly he went directly after he found out that his wife was dead?
His house.
What did Thompson do?
He went to the public house.
Okay, what did George do then, after you said they were working up men and stuff? What did George do in that time after that?
He waited for everybody to leave.
Okay? And then?
He waited for everybody to leave. He waited and then he ran.
Objection, speculation. This is just his idea of what is happening. There's no evidence that this is happening at all.
Excuse me, but he is witnessing what George did at the moment because he was with him, is that correct? So it is not speculation at all because you saw actually what happened and he is a witness from it. Thank you. So you saw, let me phrase that. So after all they left, you were still there with George.
Yeah.
And what did George do then after all they left?
He ran and said he didn't remember what.
He said that. Thank you very much. No further questions.
Defense?
What was Curly's relationship with Rennie?
Speak up, please.
He really didn't like her.
Objection. What is this relevance to the case? What is the
Attorney Brian, you're gonna have to fight to the judge why this question isn't a strike one.
I think we're arguing the case about George killing Lenny here, so. Excuse me, Your Honor, but that has nothing to do with that is not at all relevant to the case.
Where is this line of question going?
Yeah, but the relevance here is in the question. Excuse me, but I don't get it at all. What has the relationship between those two to do with the fact that this defendant is accused of killing Lenny?
Fight back to that.
Can you establish the relevance of the question to the case?
To show the relationship between Curly and Lenny. Excuse me, Your Honor, but I don't see the relationship in the case here.
And is it, can you
The
get help from your
relevance between this
teammate?
question. Yeah, that's she doesn't like it. I just like your
Thank you.
just like that.
I said.
The relevance to this question would be that we have to know the relationship between the two to know if anybody in this case is either one going to harm another or two not going, or they're friends. If they're friends in this case, it could matter because then it would mean that they have no reason to kill another person.
How would you say you know the defendant?
We stuck in the bunkhouse and we were really good friends.
How would you characterize your relationship with the defendant?
We were good friends and we had this plan.
How would you characterize your relationship with the defendant?
Good friends.
No further questions?
Candy, are there any further questions for Candy?
Stop. From the prosecution, no, thank you.
The prosecution rests?
Prosecution rests.
Prosecution rests. Thank you.
Candy? Candy?
There's no further questioning?
Defense probably wants to turn if they're witnesses.
Okay. Oh, you ready? Defense, are you ready?
Why are we resting the?
Mm-hmm. In the bag.
Call your first.
Right, Luca, come here.
The defense calls Slim.
Slim.
Just gotta remember. You state your name for the court. What happened the day that Curly's wife was killed?
Me and all the guys, all the workers were playing horseshoe, and next thing you know, Candy came out yelling, calls to the barn, and I saw Kirby's wife laying there dead.
And what did you find at the scene of this?
I saw Kirby's wife, and I saw Libby's hat.
What did Curly do about this situation?
Well, he told all the guys to gather up and find him so they can go and kill him.
No further questions?
I'll make second name did you really hear him saying, I'm going to kill that person?
Yes.
Where, immediately after he found the wife, where did he go? Did he go to the bunkhouse? After he found the, his wife laying there?
Well, he went to go search for him.
Did he take any weapons with him? I mean, you said he
Yes,
was,
he did.
what weapon did he take? A gun?
Yes.
Do you know what type of gun he took?
No.
So you are saying he just went on his horse and rode back and
Yes.
rode to search him?
Yes.
He was not entering any buildings before he left. Was he entering any buildings before he left and searching for the victim?
No.
No. My witness stated that he entered the house, his house. Can you refer to that statement? Would you say he is lying? You are just not sure about
Objection,
when.
opinion.
I'm just asking to.
You're asking her if she's sure that's her opinion.
Okay, let me phrase the question. I'm sorry. So, referring to my earlier question, do you exactly know where he went after he found his wife dead? Referring also to the statement of my witness saying that he went into the house. Can you say something about that?
No, I can't because he said that he was going to search for him. I told the guy he was going to search for him and he wanted to kill him.
Okay. No further questions.
Wait, Slim, wait, they might want.
George is a good man. He killed the man who tried to rape me.
Your Honor, can you please?
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Can you
He
please?
tried to touch me. He said that my dress was
Your Honor,
open. This is the dress that he tried to touch. I will have you thrown out of this courtroom if you continue.
Your Honor, can you please tell the jury that they should cross this line because it's not part of the trial?
So strike that from the
And
record.
that it's not bringing in that evidence to this trial, those really not very sensible statements about
Jury, please disregard this statement.
Thank you.
want me to tell you, you should. You can try.
My Lord.
You can try.
How did you know he was the son?
I work with
How would you describe him?
a fully kind of.
Objection, Your Honor. I think there's some kind of opinion here.
How would you describe his personality?
It's the same thing, Your Honor. Objection.
Just change your line of question.
Attorney Bryant, would you like some counsel from your team? Let's see if you can counsel for a second with your team. Attorney Marcus and Cook, can you help counsel?
How does Curly feel about your name?
You don't like that.
Wait a minute, Your Honor. What has the big man to do with the case of the murder trial?
Your Honor. And
Yes.
as evidence shows, Lenny was a lot bigger than Tony was, and it also shows that,
Objection.
this
It's also
shows-
relevant.
That has nothing to do with
This shows that. And before I said objection, that happened.
Work it out.
Damn.
I'm with this.
You go.
Objection, Your Honor. The body of the
This is irrelevant.
victim has nothing to do with the aggressor who killed him, right?
Your Honor, because of the fact that Curly is a big man, and stating that Curly does not like bigger men, this gives Curly.
Objection, Your Honor. He did not
You can
say
shut up.
that.
This gives Curly
Did not
the
say that.
intentions to maybe harm bigger men. This is a little relevant in this being a murder trial.
This is opinion. He did not say that.
Yes.
Okay.
You might as well be Okay.
Have you ever heard Curly say that he doesn't like?
Objection, leading question. And hearsay. All-
Have you ever seen physical
Leading
contact?
question again, Your Honor.
How's the leading question?
Yes or no question. Have you ever seen? Yes, I have. It's a leading question of. Thank you.
Okay, would you say that you've seen?
Your Honor, this is definitely a
That's an opening question.
I'm not asking you to answer no.
That's an
What would
opening
you
question.
say? It's an opinion.
What you got?
Ask him what did he see. Ask him what did he see.
Excuse me.
Alright.
Judge Nolte, order in the court.
Yeah, order in court, order in court.
Okay.
Luca, we're gonna allow it, but jury has noted that it's an addition. We're gonna allow it, go. You're trying to establish the relationship between Curly and, I'm helping them make his point. Okay. The relationship between Curly and George, right, and Lenny.
Would you say that you've seen, no, actually, I can actually phrase this have you seen any physical contact between Lenny and Carly?
Yes.
Can you please tell the court what that would be?
Charlie came in the bunkhouse, and he seemed like he was in a bad mood, and he saw Lenny, and he just started punching Lenny.
Relevance to the face is actually obvious. He's punching the victim. Would you say there was a reason behind that?
Curly, you can sit down, or Candy, you can sit down.
He said, ha.
It's not mine.
Oh, okay. Nice explanation.
If it was mine, I'd be taken care of.
I would like to call Curly.
No, it's fine.
Judge Marcus, is this your final witness? Oh wait, Attorney Marcus, order in the court, please. Stand, please. I'm sorry, Norm, stand, please. Thank you.
Jury, it is to be noted that he has a cast on his right arm.
Please state your name for the court. Curly, how would you say your relationship is with Lenny?
I didn't much like it.
Was there a reason in that?
Stand.
It's not opinion, it's his fact that he feels that way.
Excuse me, but what he says, he feels that way, that's obviously a feeling, and.
But it's fact he does, in fact, feel that way. It's him who feels that way about it. Is there, how did you get that, injury?
I came into barn house, the bunkyard, and something was bothering me. I couldn't find my wife anywhere, so I came in there looking for her, and I heard a laughter, and I turned around and it was Lenny laughing at me. So I asked him, is there something funny? And he tried to cover it up. So I told him, let's fight. And by the end of the fight, he grabbed my hand and started squeezing it. And next you know, my hand just started to go numb and blood was going down my hand. And it was just like a stinging, numb feeling all throughout my arm.
It's been noted earlier in this courtroom that you have said, or that you have said before that you don't like bigger men. Is this true?
Stand if you have an objection, please.
Your Honor, that's a leading question, it can be asked in witness, can be asked to the witness.
Withdraw the question.
It comes to my attention that there were 2 deaths on the day of the victim's death. Your wife's and Lenny's, correct?
Your Honor, the thing saying, is it correct, obviously, leading question, you must have say yes or no. And leading question is defined by the answer yes or no. So could you please rephrase the question to
Rephrase the question.
simply open ending?
Was there 2 deaths on the day of the victim's murder? Your wife's and Lenny?
Yes. The answer is yes anyway.
It might change it.
It's too late now.
Would you say you love your wife? And when you found her dead, did you get mad?
Extreme.
Would you say you took matters into your own hands after that? Yes. That's the question.
May I cross-examination witness? After you found your wife dead in the shed, where did you go?
I went to my house.
Did you go to the bunkhouse? So you went to your house and then you took the horse and rode out, is that correct?
I grabbed my
Okay. What type of gun did you grab? A rifle? Was that the only gun you got with you on while going out to search for Lenny?
It's the only gun I had.
Okay. And was this the only gun you were aware of that was on farm? Were you aware of that there was another gun?
I was aware that there were a few other guns there.
But you didn't know where exactly they were located? Or... Thank you. No further questions.
I think the defense rests at this point. Final closing statements from the court.
Okay, prosecution, you have a closing statement? Of course.
Thank you.
Criminal stuff.
Order.
Your Honor, and jury. I think we proved today that George killed Lenny beyond a reasonable doubt. We eliminated all the factors that could lead to this doubt, like a possible suspect who could have also easily killed the victim. The defense was bringing out that Curley was very angry, but our witness, expert, the policeman, said, and the coroner stated that the gun was located on the victim's head was caused by a Luger. The gun was found next to the victim. Witnesses stated that Curley, when he found his wife, went straight to the house, and Curley himself said he only had his rifle with him and that he didn't know about any other weapons or the location of other weapons on the farm. So I think he couldn't have killed him. I mean, he could have killed him, but he didn't, because the gun who killed him was a Luger, and the only person who got the opportunity to get this Luger was George. Our witness, Cabby, told us that George had a time frame where he could easily go to the bunkhouse and get easily back to the group, finding the wife, because George said to Candy that he should wait a little bit until telling all the others what happened. So, in this time frame, he could easily go to the bunkhouse and get the gun. He was also the guy who knew where the gun was, and Curley just didn't. I agree that he has a motive, but I'm just stating that he didn't do it. On top of that, he has a strong motive. And we also know that he is not insane. Our expert witness, the psychologist, stated that he is really not insane, which will be a factor to tell him innocent, but he is not insane. He actually, our witness actually said he was very contemplative in all his behavior and his actions. So, yes. Therefore, he is also full responsibility for his actions. But today, we did not only prove that George killed Lenny, we also proved beyond reasonable doubt that George killed the victim in an act of first-degree murder. The legal definition of first-degree murder includes 4 stages. All of those 4 stages have to be present in order for a killing to be a first-degree murder. Those 4 stages are: the defendant intended to kill the person, the defendant planned how he was going to kill the person, the defendant carried out the plan and killed the person, and the defendant carried out the plan to help himself. In our case, all those 4 stages are there at the defendant George. The defendant intended to kill the person. He brought a gun to a meeting with his friend. I mean, let me ask you. You bring a gun to a meeting. I think when you plan this, taking your gun in your pocket, you're also thinking of using it, right? I mean, the intent is obviously there by putting the gun into his pocket while going to a meeting. The plan, I already referred to that. He planned it. He was logically thinking how he could do it. And by putting the gun, again, into his pocket and taking it to the meeting. On top of that, there was only one shot. One shot from behind. We know that. So the plan was very good. And as our psychologist said, he was very contemplative in his behavior. So he planned how he could easily do it. So he sat behind him and shot him. Very contemplative, very planned. The defendant carried out the plan and killed the person. Obviously, we have a body, we have a victim, we have a dead person. He took the gun and shot him. That's the carrying out the plan. And now, the defendant carried out the plan to help himself. I'm referring to the motive of George in this case. The 4th stage is the motive. And the motive is, if life gets easier, he does not have to take care of his handicapped, mentally handicapped, retarded friend. He has not to take care of him. He saves a lot of money. He does not have to share money. He does not have to help him. He's free. He can live a life now. And he was angry. He was angry because Lenny cannot. He couldn't and he cannot and he won't, probably never can control himself. He's mentally handicapped and he cannot control himself, so he was angry. George was angry that he did something so horrible like killing a person. I think he also felt for the dead woman. He felt for her, and that was his motive. He was angry, and as I said, his life is so easy now. Therefore, he had to die. It was a punishment George said was for him. So, he planned the murder, he carried out the plan, and most importantly, he intended it. He had this plan. The weapon, remember? Thank you very much.
That was really good.
Quiet, please. Careful, this is it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we have found reasonable doubt that my client, George, is innocent. Due to these facts, Carlson had no idea where the gun could have been, and he had no idea where it could have been taken from. It could have never been taken from him. He was in the barn the last time he saw it. Or bunkhouse, rather. So there is no idea if anyone could have had it at all. He could have even had it himself, and he could be hiding it from us. We could also say that there is no way Candy stated that he was in the barn, and he, as in George, stated that George was in the barn. Also stating that he's seen everything that was in the barn, and saying that he couldn't see anybody go in, he didn't see anybody come in, he didn't see anybody go out. But he said he was in the barn. How could he have known he went to the bunkhouse? How could he have known that he went to go search for the people? They could have just been making random assumptions and just leaving and going out and just calming themselves down. He doesn't know what happened. He was in the barn. Candy also said George was in the barn when he was in the barn. The psychologist stated that neither the defendant or the victim can be found as a bad man. And Slim said that Curly sent his men out to kill because he was angry. And Slim said that Curly took a gun to go find Lenny. He also stated that that Curly himself could tell you that he would fight Lenny. And Curly himself did state that he fought Lenny. He also said that this is the reason his hand was broken. He could have been a little mad from that. He also stated that his wife died, and he blamed Lenny for it, was angry at Lenny, and literally said he took matters into his own hands. We don't know what that means. It could have meant he killed him. It could have meant somebody else did it. I'm not saying that he did. However, I am saying that my client, George, was nowhere out of the barn before Curly went out and searched with his men. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I feel as if my client is innocent.
Jury, you will now form an inner circle here. I'm going to give you a minute to form that circle, then now's your time. People who were involved in the case, and yes, will you please sit on the outside like we did in the Hansel and Gretel practice trial. Let's make that happen now.